it would take up a lot more space. No, it doesn't really do it. Basically, what a lot of these apps are is just it points it to a website and just puts it in a more of a mobile friendly thing. But anyways, good evening, everybody. Good evening, Rebels. Thank you for joining me. Those of you that are coming in late, you're going to wish that you were here from the beginning because, quite frankly, this is going to be a banger of a night. Okay, so welcome back, Rebels. Tonight we're diving headfirst into chaos because this country isn't just divided; it's literally running two governments. It's just crazy. We've got dueling presidents, a crumbling economy, AI mind games, and southern states going rogue. This ain't politics as usual. This is the digital rebellion in real time. We're going to break it all down, starting with a political war that's heating up like never before. We used to talk about red versus blue. Now we're talking about two presidents, two agendas, and one fractured country. Trump's back in the White House acting like it's his country again. Biden still holding global meetings, still calling the shots abroad. And the world watching like we're really, they're watching us like we're a fucking freak show is what they're doing. So, um, anyways, so we're in the middle of a silent political war. All right, there's two administrations, one collapsing empire on paper. Trump is the president again, but behind the scenes, Biden and his network are still pulling the strings through global diplomacy, federal agencies, and media control. He's meeting with European leaders. So remember when Trump pulled funding from Zelensky, and then he went to the UK and everything else like that. We're finding out who our friends really are. And the thing is as soon as Zelensky went back to Europe, Biden and his NGO went to go meet with them so that they could help shape policy. Because really, what's happening here is we've got a shadow presidency acting as a foreign diplomat, as if he has control over foreign policy, but he's acting on behalf of, let's say, the deep state government. All right, and this is to a point where it's not really good for anybody, especially us, because what this is doing is it's destroying our image across the world, and it's showing people the internal divide and everything else like that. What's up, Occult? What's up, Invisible? I saw you. Okay, so he's meeting with European leaders. He's trying to shape Ukraine policy and climate policy, and he's signaling continuity with the globalist agenda. Even though he officially holds no power, agencies like the DOJ and State Department are dragging their feet on Trump directives, while Biden aligned staff quietly push forward legacy programs like ESG, DEI, and climate accords. The result, a country with two heads and no clear direction. This is creating chaos on the world stage. NATO allies are confused, foreign leaders are hedging their bets, and America's enemies are capitalizing on the instability. Meanwhile, media outlets still treat Biden as a legitimate face of the American leadership, reinforcing the illusion of continuity. College campuses, corporate boards, and Silicon Valley are following his policies like nothing's actually changed. It's not just partnership anymore, it's institutional warfare. The US government is fractured from the inside out, and everyday Americans are left wondering who's really running the show. Okay, so you kind of heard me start to talk about this a little bit. Biden is in the deep state are going behind Trump's back. Not only that, we see what's going on with Harvard. We see what's going on with all the lawsuits. Every time he tries to fire government agencies, they're just trying to hold on long enough because Trump only has 4 years. So if they could hold on long enough for 4 years. Now, you've heard me talk about this for the last couple of years, that we're in the middle of a political civil war. My opinion was that J6 was the true beginning of the Civil War. In 50 years, when they look back on history in the same way we look back on the first American Civil War, what we saw was there was a lot of stuff happening. It didn't just all of a sudden one day the rebels were firing on Fort Sumter. It was something more along the lines of there was a buildup, there was a trade war going on between the North and the South, and the Brits were fueling it. You had Napoleon's, I think it was his son, who was given an army and put it on the Mexican border, putting pressure on the South. There was questions about border security. There was essentially all the same thing that we're dealing with right now. And the thing is, you have one side that's just saying, okay, we can steal the next election, or we can take the next election, and we can slant it in our favor. So you have Trump, who's racing against time and trying to do what he believes is his mandate. But the thing is at every single step they're trying to undo him. During his first presidency, we didn't find out until Joe Biden's presidency that about all the different undermining that happened from his agencies. Even the people that were supposed to be giving him advice thought that he was too stupid to get the advice. So what did they do? They kept it from him. They shaped his opinion. They led him down a way where it was the decision that they wanted to make. It was unelected bureaucrats who were influencing the decision making. And at this point in time, because of what happened in J6, because of how much it divided the country, I mean, if you look all between 2000 and 2010, yeah, we had some rhetoric, but nothing like we have right now. We've got riots, we've got protests, we've got just outright subversion, and it's not just happening. It's not happening just in what's the word I'm looking for? It's not just happening, on the federal level. It's not happening in a small level. It's actually happening on a large scale level. This is happening in your local communities because of the divisiveness of the politics, all the way up to the state and even the feds. And so now we're having the country that's dividing itself. And as we get into this a little bit later on, we're going to talk a little bit more about even what the southern states, because if you guys have heard me talk, and I know some of you don't care, some of you like it, some of you don't, but one of the predictions that Billy Meyer gave was that we would have back-to-back civil wars, which this is most likely the first one. And after the end of the Second War, the United States would be no more, and it would split into 5 separate countries. Okay, so then, let me ask you this. If the government can't even agree who's running this country and how long do you think it's going to last? Or do you just trust and, just trust it to lead things right? Do you trust the government or do you not? And if you don't, why? Okay, I want to understand how you guys are feeling about this, because, the whole country got to a point where we were so upset that we chose to re-elect Donald Trump, because we basically got the same shit sandwich 2 election cycles in a row. And we're like, yeah, that first guy, he wasn't good. Let's go back to the other guy. At least he was doing okay. And because of the way that he saw things going, and because of if J6 would have never happened, if he would have won the election, I don't think we would see nearly as much turmoil. But because of that happening and how contested the election was and how much it divided us as a country, and then that rift just keeps going, because one side, I mean, it used to be like, Fox News, they would go after the Democrats, but whenever, the Republicans would be in there, they'd be all nice to them. And you'd go over to MSNBC, same thing. Whenever the Democrats are in, they're nice to them. Whenever the Republicans are in, they're mean to them. So if you want, you always got to go over to the opposing side to be able to get at least some realistic view, because they're the only ones, because they're calling out all of his flaws as a way to say we're the shiniest turd in the bowl. Okay, so how do you guys feel about this, and what do you guys think? I'm curious. So who do you think is actually running this country? So let's see here. Let's say hi to everybody. Wow, you guys really lit up chat. What's up, Occult? What's up, Invisible? What's up, Beth? What's up, Occult? Hey, Joanna. Tommy, nice to see you. You're going to call me Dr. Tuck by the end of the night, I swear. Invisible Man. I mean, I can't believe that Biden I can't believe that he's meeting and trying to shape policy. I mean, I heard about it, but I wasn't really paying too much attention. We rebels, Tommy. Yeah. Okay. Many names, same thing, Beth. Okay. What's up, Occult? Okay, let's see. Tommy. Okay. Invisible Man. Okay, that's no big surprise. Cumulative effect. So, I mean, not only are we having a trade war internationally, but we're also having an internal civil war. So this country, anybody that thinks that America is going to be great again, if you look at what's going on, the writing's on the wall, and you're delusional. America has fallen, and now it's time to be able to carve out your spot, figure out where you're going to be, and hunker down, because it's going to be a long while. Go look at what happens in other countries where they have civil war. They last for decades sometimes. And you've got warlords, and those warlords, you guys remember All American Prepper? He's going to be one of them. You know, he will end up being one of them unless his ego gets him in trouble. Okay, so here's story number 2. Okay, while the political machine burns, AI is quietly rewriting the rules of war, not with bullets, but with lies that look, sound, and real. Welcome to the age of synthetic propaganda. Here's the okay. AI isn't just reshaping elections, it's rewriting reality in real time. We're not talking about sci-fi hype anymore. In 2024 primaries, tens of thousands of voters were hit with AI-generated robocalls impersonating Joe Biden, telling them not to vote. That's election interference by machine, and it's actually happened. Deep fakes of public figures endorsing candidates they've never supported are flooding social media. These aren't just memes, they're weaponized illusions meant to fracture trust and steer decisions. You can't tell what's real, and how can you vote with confidence? Meanwhile, foreign governments like Russia and China are running AI-powered psyops on American soil, building fake news sites, spinning propaganda, and flooding our feeds with synthetic bots that just sound like your neighbor. They know the average American can't spot an AI fake from a real post. This isn't just manipulation, it's invasion through information. If you still think this is all overblown, you're already behind. AI doesn't need guns to stage a takeover. It just needs attention and a good disguise. Okay, so in 2024, so they're saying that the 2026 election is going to be interfered with. That's the main headline. They believe that between bad actors within and bad actors without, that we are going to have a mass propaganda campaign with AI. Now, I have been able to spot some of the AIs. I will tell you what you really, really have to pay close attention if you're going to discern from it one way or another. Okay, why do you need to pay close attention? Because there's this one where he says, I share every one of my live streams. That's not that. Nobody says live streams. There's the little flaws, the little nuances that if you're paying attention to them and if you're listening to them, you'll be able to know whether or not it's a fake. The other thing is that there are people that are getting calls from people that sound like their loved ones saying, I'm in trouble, I need money, please help me. And these are deep fakes, and people are being taken advantage of this way. Today, I used Grok to help me discern whether or not I was dealing with a legitimate letter from Google or if it was spam. And it caught some things I wasn't able to catch, because what they were doing is they were creating a mirror. So you have Google, and then you have your computer, and so what they're doing is intercepting all the information in between, and so they make it look like the actual page, like the actual information, but what's happening is all that information is going back and forth. Okay, and so what they're doing is they're harvesting it. It's called mirroring. This is an old school way to be able to hack. I mean, they've been doing this for 25 years at least. Okay, is to be able to do something like that. And before that, it was phones. You just tap into a line. That's why fiber optics became so important. Okay, so one thing that I strongly suggest is with you and with your family is that you should probably be looking at getting some sort of code word, not like, banana pancakes. We're not talking about your safe word. We're talking about a code word. Okay, so with the code word, it should be something that is known between you and your family, because AI, because of all of our information being digitized, being public, being out there, like I said this morning, every man's sins will be on his doorstep. You don't have to be a Christian to believe that. What's up, Hogo? What's up, Chaos? All right, and so you're getting to, it's getting to a point where you have to really be careful and know what you're getting. Okay. You guys who followed me, you know I'm a real human being. You know that I go out there and I do my due diligence. I don't just sit there and take what's spit out to me, regurgitate it, and act as if it's my own. I have a lot more class than that. Okay. I use it as a tool to be able to help me, but some people aren't. And the bad actors definitely aren't, because it can do so much for you. You don't have to spend much time thinking. And so this is going to be, this is why the trade war is probably going to be the most detrimental to us as global citizens, not just Americans, but as global citizens. Because while these two superpowers are having a knockdown, drag out fight. By the way, I got 50-mile-an-hour winds, guys. Sorry about that. Well, they're having a knockdown, drag out fight. These bad actors that are taking this technology and learning it are now on able to be out there free and going about and not having a single issue. Okay. And this is something that as an individual, I would be concerned about. And this is why, because of how dangerous AI can be, we need to be able to have our governments working together to stop these bad actors and to put some of their differences aside. Otherwise, it's going to be cataclysmic for us all. So, so if AI can imitate every politician, every newscaster, even you, how do we fight back, and how do we verify truth in 2025? What types of things do you guys have that you can use? Because you're going to have to figure this out. Am I dealing with the real person, or if I'm dealing with the robot? Am I dealing with technology, or am I dealing with the human? Because there are people now, you and me and the average person, we probably won't see this for probably about another 5-10 years in our daily life. But people who have money, people who have assets, people are easily take advantage of, people that are part of certain age groups, they are the ones that are going to be paying the price, because they're the ones that their their naivety is going to be what costs them the most. Mm. Okay, one third can of apple pie filling, half pound of cooked bacon, mix it into your pancake batter. Try it. Okay. Apple bacon pancake sounds. Oh, that does sound good. Okay. All right. Banana pancakes. Grok did that for you. How? Did you send Grok a screenshot? Yes, actually, I did. I had the email, took 4 screenshots. I uploaded all 4 screenshots, and I asked it to translate it because it was in Indonesian. I was curious to see what it was. And so therefore it looked at the email address and verified and looked at the links and said, well, you know what, this almost fits Google, except they would have actually put a link in it, and they would have done, and I think another thing is they would have done it in my native language. Either that, or they were trying to, I don't know, somehow I got into the Indonesian queue somehow. I don't know. But the fact is that they were impersonating YouTube about a study that they were doing, and it was going to pay me $5, which was like 750 whatever the Indonesian dollar is, to be able to do it. But yeah, I had it look through. I told it to translate and to tell me if it was authentic. And because it was able to, this is what it does. This is what its strength is to be able to mine data to be able to give you accurate answers if you put the right question and the right parameters into it. Okay. And that's how I was able to use it. And quite frankly, I'm glad that it did that, because I almost decided, well, I was going to go through and translate it, but I was thinking it was, because I saw it was from Google, I was just going to see what they were offering me, and I was going to take it up. I was going to send an email back asking for the survey link. But when it told me that because they didn't send the survey link, that was one of the key indicators. So they're not going to be 100% perfect, but they're going to be close enough that the person who's not paying attention will be able to, will get taken advantage of. Scammers are such old lives. Yes, they are. There's a channel out there that actually catches them all. So I worked in restaurants for a couple of years. This is the stuff we used to do in the morning. We would just make random pancake breakfast. Oh, yeah. I had a 5-star sous chef that taught me how to cook. He was one of my tenants. Oh man, I can make a red sauce up to the point I'm still able to spot scams. Yeah, well, they're getting better. Yeah, it's shaking because I got 50-mile-an-hour winds. We're getting gusts. Okay, so, all right. So I want to stop and take, because I see that we're not getting a lot of people in here. Is my signal bad? Is this bad, or is this just kind of, people not in here tonight? I'm curious. So, but also, what do you guys think of the first two stories? I mean, we've kind of been hitting it hard. I mean, we've got a shadow government and AI scams. Hit that like button, folks. Yeah, don't forget to hit that like button. Okay, story number 3. Okay, market meltdown, worst week since 2008. Hey, what's up, Patriot? Okay, let's talk dollars, or what's left of them. Markets are bleeding. Your retirements are shrinking, and Main Street's next in line. Here's a tight, viewer-friendly. Oops, sorry. Okay, the past week, the stock market didn't just dip; it flashed warning signs that we could be starting down a crash worse than 2008. Major indexes like the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq have been their sharpest. I've seen their sharpest decline in months, triggered by a cocktail of rising inflation fears, crumbling tech stocks, and panic over potential interest rates. Big investors are pulling out. Safe haven assets like gold are spiking, and even seasoned analysts are comparing the current charts to pre-crash levels before the Great Recession. Top leaders are bailing, and the fear index is rising fast. And then you also got to look at the okay, so what is making this different? And possibly worse. It's the so I'm gonna take a deep breath for a second. I've been going. Okay, so consumer debt is at record highs. Small banks are shaky, and the Fed can't lower rates without risking more inflation. Even politicians like Elizabeth Warren are warning that Trump's threats to fire Fed Chair Jerome Powell could detonate the markets. If you're living off grid or trying to stay self-reliant, this isn't just Wall Street drama. It's a warning shot. And why is it a warning shot? Because the implication is, or this is what the experts are saying, is that if Donald Trump has the power to fire Jerome Powell, then what that means is that the Fed is no longer an independent agency there to monitor it, and so therefore it can be politicized. Remember when the Democrats did the first filibuster, and everybody said, well, you just dropped that nuclear bomb, now you just set precedent, now we're going to do it when we have a chance. And everybody keeps warning the other side, like, hey, you do this is what we're going to do. So I mean, it's just this is just something that is hitting a lot of different people in a lot of different ways. But if Donald Trump gets that ability to be able to fire him, but here's the truth and the reality, at least from what I know, from what I've learned over the years, if the trailer's rocking, don't come knocking. That's funny. Okay, so from what I know, I gotta stop reading chat. You guys always get me. Chat's more interesting than I am half the time, at least in my opinion. But make me turn red. Okay. All right. What I know is this. At least Freeman mythology is that the Federal Reserve was written under canon law, which is next to universal law. It is the second highest law in the tier of hierarchy of laws. So you've got God's laws, canon law, ecclesiastical law, and then it just keeps going down from there. Okay, so it's written under a higher law form, which means anything that the federal government tries to do, because it is under statutory law, it doesn't have the power to be able to do that just because of hierarchy of law. It's like the child telling the parent how to live their life. It just doesn't work. Okay, and so therefore, in a lot of ways, we don't have that ability. Also, part of the Federal Reserve Agreement is that we don't have the right to audit the Fed, to question any of their moves. We have to let them go and do their thing without ever questioning. Kind of like you've got to read the bill, or you got to vote for the bill before you can read the bill. Remember that it was the same thing. But the Federal Reserve was passed unanimously, and that is the overall propaganda. But that's not necessarily the overall truth. There was 3 people. What they did is they sent everybody home telling them that it was holiday, but they had one last order of business where they called an emergency meeting where 3 individuals showed up. And so they had a quorum, and they passed the vote, and everybody else was considered as abstained except for those 3 people, and therefore the Federal Reserve Act passed unanimously. So was it actually passed by the consent of the people? No, it wasn't. So in a lot of ways, this could be a way for Donald Trump to take back control of our money, not necessarily by canceling the Federal Reserve, but by controlling it, by putting it underneath the power of the actual government. So there is some positive and some negative of this, but what it's going to do to international investors and local investors is that they're going to see that with politics, with enough might, you can break through any piece of legislation, any contract, anything, and you can prosecute. Show me the man and I'll show you the crime. That will be the ideology. And we've already got shaky court system, shaky economics, and shaky trade. I mean, what more can we do to shoot ourselves in the foot before it all goes right? You know what I mean? So, but of course, okay, yep, thinking the same thing. Congrats. Okay. Current my okay. Holy cow, really moly. Gus got that trailer rocking. Yeah. Bubbles are popping, yo. Hold on to the yeah, really. Okay. So it looks like we got a lot of side. If you guys have any questions, please put them in all caps. Okay. So I'm gonna plug Patreon. Okay. And I am going to ask you guys before I do that to vote on something. If you like these 3 topics that I've done so far, if you like the newscast, if you think this is really good, type 1. If you think that I could do better, type 2 and give me your suggestion on maybe what types of topics I'm not covering that I should be covering that would be of more interest to the group. But anyways, if you guys want to hear me uncensored, starting next week, we will be having morning live streams. They will be moving from public over here on Patreon to private over on, or excuse me, from public over here on YouTube to private over on Patreon. For a couple of weeks, we're going to put it out for everybody that is a member. So you can get a free membership, and then you can also get a paid membership. Now, what's going to end up happening is after that couple of weeks, because we're looking to gain sponsors to the channel that make sure that I can operate outside of YouTube without the dependency on YouTube. So your membership really means a lot. So if you'd like to sponsor the channel, come on over and see what kind of value is going to be offered. You're going to be getting a lot of content because I want to focus on an off platform community, because as you see all the things that are happening, it's in your best interest to kind of get yourself to safety. Find places you can trust early, places where you can interact, and you've got chat where you can network with everybody and all kinds of stuff like that. That starts at $5 a month, goes all the way up to 20, depending upon how you want to, what type of content, how involved you want to be in all the other content. But anyways, guys, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next topic. I saw a couple of ones. I'm wondering how you can be so smart but be homeless for so long. Just because I'm smart doesn't mean I don't have issues. My issues is what made me smart. I'm Gen X too, so I have to tell my parents what to do all the time. Okay, okay. So it looks like, here's the a lot of it is work accident, and then the other part of it is, I had a lot of issues that the mental health industry couldn't help me with, because it wasn't really mental health, it was personality issues. When you get to a point where everything's always going against you, you have to start looking at it and go, what did I do to contribute? Just like with the issues that's happened over the last couple of days, I had to sit back and ask myself, what did I contribute to it? Because I realized in a lot of ways I was creating a lot of my problems, because not either the decisions I was making or the actions that I was taking that was causing my issues. And that is really what makes a person homeless. It's not an economics issue. An economics issue is easy to fix. It is so easy to start a business for free. You can get a free phone from the government. You can start a YouTube channel for free. You can start a website for free. You can create digital products for free. You can do all kinds of different things for free. You can create it. It's so easy. So is it an economics issue? No, it's a this issue. This is what makes people homeless. Okay, and this is what I was trying to beat the drum on, but nobody really gave a shit. So, okay, so here's our bombshell one, the one that I think you guys might like as well. So let's head south, where states like Texas, Arizona, and Florida are flipping DC the bird and locking down their borders their way. This could open. Okay, so let's stop pretending this is just politics as usual. What we're witnessing in America right now isn't partisanship. It's a cold civil war. Again, if you notice the narrative of all these, it's just showing you how we're falling apart piece by piece. We have all of these news stories that are popping up, but nobody's connecting the dots to say, look, big red truck. Okay, so big red truck. All right. State governments are actively defying federal authorities. Red states are nullifying federal laws. Blue states ignored Trump's immigration orders, and courts are getting dragged into every fight. This isn't about left versus right anymore. This is about who governs the country. Back in the 2000s, rebellion was just a noise. Protesters marched, Congress yelled, but everyone stayed in their lane. Now, governors are setting up border task force like they're their own country. States are fighting over legitimacy of elections before they even happen. And worst part, no one agrees who's in charge. Trump's building a power base in the states. Biden's team, even out of office, is still pulling strings through backdoor channels, agencies, and global partners. So this is a real-time constitutional warfare, okay? The average American really has no idea, as I was saying, really has no idea how deep it's gotten. So let's break it down. Okay, so my buddy, I have a little bit of knowledge because I know somebody that works with the governor's office of Texas, and yeah, the militias and the governments and stuff like that. That's going on. That's been going on for a minute. Okay. But that was actually what anyways, the ones that concern me most is the one out of Louisiana. Okay, so this is a sanctuary battle, and it's going into the courts. I'm not sure if it's going into the Supreme Court just yet, but right now in the state of Louisiana, you have the state that just passed state legislation that says that you got to comply with all state agencies, and this is our immigration policy, and these are our laws, and this is how we're going to act. And because New Orleans is a sanctuary city, they are saying, oh, well, we don't have to, and so now they're suing the sheriff of the Parish County because they're not following orders. And so the question is being asked is, well, at what point? Because the states are trying to take over immigration for themselves. Okay, they're putting up their own border task force. They're doing their own thing. Okay, so now they're trying to act independent. But then you've got the cities that are trying to act independent, which means everybody's trying to act on their own accord. So if you guys remember the times of the city states, this is something that could happen depending upon the outcome because of how this unravels things. Because what it does is it says that if it were to rule in favor of the parish, it would say that state power is nullified. It is up to the local city and county to decide how to run itself. So it is no longer a subordinate. It gets to operate autonomously. What that means, operating autonomously, means that New Orleans can do whatever it wants. It's not held to Louisiana standards if it wants to make those changes, if it wants to do things, if it wants to set it up. And so this would be a complete unraveling, because then it would also justify what the states are doing, which is providing their own border security with their own militias and things like that. I've seen Apaches. They come fly over my head every once in a while when they're doing patrols. It's kind of interesting. It kind of spooked me out the first time I saw them, but they come by every so often. I went after a couple of times, I went out and I looked at them. I'm like, oh, wow. But yeah, I mean, they're patrolling our border. We have a military presence on our border. I'm probably about 150 to 200 miles from the border. So you got to realize, if they overrun the military, we're screwed. I'm first. I'm like the first wave of like crap. So this is stuff that's happening, and the states are defying, and the states started defying when Obamacare was passed. Hey, what's up, Kung Fu? When Obamacare was passed, that's when the states started defying. That's when the red states started taking it, and we had like 26, 27 states. I think we even had almost enough to make it unconstitutional for the healthcare mandate. But as each one goes, see, each one sets precedents for the next one. But at the end of the day, this really boils down to, this is a fight between the Tea Party and the Occupy Wall Street. Biden and Bernie Sanders and that camp, that is the representation of the Occupy Wall Street movement. Donald Trump is the embodiment of the Tea Party movement. He is the closest thing to a Tea Party candidate you will ever get. Unless Rand Paul wins presidency, he's the closest thing you'll ever get to a Tea Party candidate. Okay, so let's see what the crowd has to say. Louisiana, yeah. So, Chris, my best friend's a broker and basically can see into the future. Let's do you know Johnny Bravo Chaos? Is that who it is? Hey, Kung Fu. Okay, yeah. Okay, let's see. Hey, Tuck. Good to see you. Yeah, nice to see you too. What's up, Chris? You tell me which one is more peculiar. I don't understand. Yeah. Okay. So, so we gotta. That's good. Hey, keep chat going there, Chaos. All right. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, and this is the last story of the night, and then we're gonna go ahead and open it up to open talk. We're gonna sit back and share things. Maybe Sam will get her butt out of bed. I gotta show you guys this. Look at that. She was head up on my pillow earlier. Oops. Hold on. Okay, so all right. Did you think hold on. Do you think Bernie Sanders leans towards any of Biden's people? No, but Bernie Sanders isn't like Bernie Sanders has great rhetoric, but he's like any other politician. He's full of shit. He's a con artist. He has great ideas, but he's too much of a capitalist to be a socialist. But yeah, Bernie was the primary candidate for the Occupy. But anyways, yeah, I think you're right. So here's one, and this is where you're gonna really like it, because the Supreme Court, Donald Trump found out today while he was being interviewed by reporters that the Supreme Court agreed to hear his case on birthright citizenship. Okay, so and while the states are taking the law into their own hands, the Supreme Court is about to decide whether kids born here are actually American. The legal foundation for birthright citizenship in the U.S. is rooted in the 14th Amendment, which states all persons born or naturalized in the United States are subject to the jurisdiction thereof, are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside. Okay, there's actually, see, here's the thing that most people don't know. This is where my free man knowledge comes in. Okay, so the United States, out of all 27 definitions, go look it up yourself. The District of Columbia, territories and islands. Is Arizona a territory, or is it one of the several states? Okay, so the thing is, to say that all persons born in the United States would say that there is a federal overlay and would be openly admitting that the states no longer have the power, that the states no longer exist. So if you ever read the article USA, the Republic, a house that no one lives in, this is what proves his argument right there, is that by taking the whole 14th Amendment, by saying the United States, people think Arizona is the United States. No, Arizona is not the United States. It is one of the several states. And there's a reason why you call them several states. Go look in the Constitution. The citizens of the several states shall elect their representatives. Okay, it's direct. So if it says that, what's the difference between the United States and the several states? Nobody asked that question. Oh, I've read the Constitution. If you've read the Constitution, you would ask that question, because the first time I read it, that was the first question I asked. I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. Several states, Because I've read a lot of stuff about about the 14th Amendment citizen, and I couldn't wrap my head around it until I actually read the actual Constitution. And when my son was born, I bought him a pocket Constitution that he would have from as when he was born, so that he could have it for the rest of his life, or at least as long as the Constitution exists. Okay, so the United States is the District of Columbia. Arizona is not the District of Columbia. Unless they're saying that this is now federal territory and the states have lost their sovereignty and were conquered at the end of the Civil War, which would also prove the point that the federal government declared war against the rebels but never declared peace, allowing this to happen, to allow this to subjugate us, to create slavery. Now, Donald Trump, what Donald Trump is saying is that this is an old law for slavery. We are not dealing with slavery. This was meant to be able to, what he's doing is he's using the intent of the law versus the letter of the law. Okay, because this is something, the birthright citizenship, you actually, and this is a long standing law beyond the 14th Amendment, beyond the Magna Carta. Okay, way all maybe even as far back as Rome. But where you are born, where you come, where you are native into this world, wherever you come, that is your birthright. Okay, that is your home. That is your citizen. So on one hand, yes, we don't want anchor babies, but on the other hand, the universal law states that wherever you become native, that is your home. That, like, I became native in Colorado. That is my birthright citizenship. Okay, my birthright citizenship is not the United States. My birthright citizenship is the state of Colorado. Okay, and how that works. Okay, so with this, just to kind of get into this, a little bit, but this is where I get heated. So this principle was affirmed in a landmark 1898 Supreme Court case, United States v. Wong Kim Ark, where the court held that a child born in the U.S. to foreign parents is a citizen by birth. Okay, the Trump administration contends. I want to go read that case a little bit deeper. The Trump administration contends that the executive order aligns with the original understanding of the 14th Amendment, arguing that universal birthright citizenship fosters illegal immigration and birth tourism. Critics, including legal scholars, argue that the order is flagrantly unconstitutional and that the administration is deflecting from its legal deficiency by focusing on injunction scope rather than constitutional merit. No, he has 100% merit. But the thing is, what this is going to do is this is going to rip that Band-Aid off. This is going to show you the core root of everything that caused our problems from all the way up until now. See, this is why I got to learn so much about history, and I know so much about American history. It's because I wanted to understand where we went wrong and how we got here. And I got lucky to meet a couple, or to read some very stellar people before they were digitally erased to where you'll probably never find them again. Go look for Leap Ropes. Go look for Eye of the Republic. Go look for USA, the Republic, a house that no one lives in, because that's his final article of 2 years of writing. It's kind of a rant, but if you were able to get a hold of his other articles, it'd make complete sense. You've got to read. If you read somebody, you should read multiple samples of their work to see if they're crazy or not. Okay, so that's what I did with Lee Brooks, and I'm telling you that, yeah, this is when I learned this. It wasn't like, man, they screwed us, because they didn't. It's all out in the public. You just didn't find it, and they put it in a place where you would never look. They didn't hide it from you. They just know you'll never go to a library. You're too busy watching TV instead of reading a book. That's the thing. And so therefore it's in your face and you don't even know it. Okay, so they didn't create treason and all this other stuff. Now, what Biden's doing is borderline treason, because he is trying to act as a de facto president, but that's much different than this. So this is going to bring into question, where is federal jurisdiction? Because if anybody in their right mind, wants to ask a good question within the courts, you're gonna ask, define the United States. How is the United States Arizona? if you can ask that question, that breaks everything down. 14th Amendment goes away, birthright citizenship goes away, and you are native to where you come alive at. Okay, that's essentially what would happen. It would also probably negate the Title 18, the Trading with the Enemies Act, and several other pieces of important legislation that were passed under under the premise of the 14th Amendment. Okay, so that's all of our talking points for tonight. I hope you guys like this. It seems like we didn't really have a lot of people in here tonight. I'm kind of surprised. Was it me? Was it the drama? What was it? So, all right. So we just covered 5 massive shifts: civil war, politics, AI warfare, economic collapse, state secession, energy, and constitutional battles. If you're not paying attention, you're getting left behind. Let me know in the comments which story you want clipped and expanded first, and I'd also like to know this from you guys as well. Hit the like button, share with your prepper groups, subscribe if you're part of the rebellion. Okay, you can support this channel over on Patreon by becoming a subscriber or even a free member, because we need to get deplatformed off of YouTube. YouTube needs to be a funnel, not a primary place of doing business. Because of all of the stories that we're talking about, each one of those makes sense. So consider coming on over to Patreon and grabbing a membership, whether it be a free or paid. Everybody wins over there. So let's see here. Let's see. It's like that trade. You mean? Okay. I love my president though. Okay. Good Lord, I couldn't give Newsom and okay, brain. Californians voted for Newsom, and then they'll spread out like all over the country. Exactly. And the thing is, Newsom is. I was in San Francisco when he was mayor, and he got caught and found out he was a drunk and a philanderer. So yeah. So, anyways, let's see. Let's see. Great advice, Tuck. Okay. We have adjustments. Adjustment for status and give her citizenship 10,000 right off the rip. Okay. Okay. There should be no federal government. In the same reason, for the same reason that the Europeans gathered together under the European Union, the several states needed to gather under the European Union. Okay, they are under the United States, which is essentially the United States is the model that the European Union is under. It's just they haven't progressed enough to where the EU has completely eroded the sovereignty of each of the nations, but it's working hard on it. It's just the way it is. But as far as I want some of your white privilege right now, Chris, you're not. I thought you were white. You can have some of my white privilege. I ain't never had a privilege in my life. So if you can find some, let me know. Please let me know. I'm typing it wrong. It's Gavin Nuisance. You know what? You right, Chaos. Okay, adjustment for. It's nice to see that we got some informed people in here. Okay, look how privileged you are. You should feel ashamed of yourself. Fuck that. You know what? I'm proud to be who I am. And I don't, yeah, you know what? That's part of the reason why I want nothing to do with society. I'm realizing I can deal with people on a little bit by little bit interactions, like an hour here, a couple hours here, but long term, something like that. I'm finding out that I don't necessarily have the patience I thought I had. I can't deal with the woke. I can't deal with people that are just that have worse issues than me or have issues like me that are destructive to me. Things like that. There's a lot of things I just don't want to that I don't really want to deal with. So some best taken in small doses. Yeah, well, when you've been outside and you slept in a street corner on a busy street, and you get harassed by a group of people coming out of the club, and they disturb your sleep and get aggro with you, And like this isn't a one-off. This is a regular thing that happens a couple times a week, usually Friday and Saturday night, for sure, at least with the club scene. But then you've also got the people just coming out of the bars, and if you're anywhere close to a bar, which is usually one of the safer places to sleep, you know, so some folks just have no clue. You know what? Animals, yes, but an animal can't give me what I need. They can give me like if it was just me and Sam, I would go mad. Without being able to have this contact here on YouTube, which is why it's so important for me to take take the morning streams over to Patreon, because for the main thing is like I need to be able to speak freely, and I don't want to create issues, because there's things that I say that will either one could get me shut down, could get me canceled, or in the case of what we saw the last couple of days, we could have seen that as well. Okay. And the thing is in order to avoid that and to allow me the autonomy to be able to speak, because you guys are my friends, the ones of you that show up every day and every night, you guys are my friends. You guys are the people that I look forward to when I'm bored and I'm lonely and I'm looking for somebody to hang out with. Here's where I come. That's why sometimes on the weekend you'll see a random one. It's like, I miss my friends. I need somebody to talk to. And sometimes a phone call isn't always it. Like I like having the group of you guys together so that, you know, I can sit back, talk with you, share what's going on, you know, and I hope that as we get to know each other more, and I think that Patreon is going to actually open that up, because there's a disclaimer. If you become a paid member, everything that is said on Patreon on the paid side stays on the paid side. If you take it out of Patreon, you could suffer, I think I put like a $50,000 penalty, and I will take your house and your car if you do that, because that's something that will. That's why I put the fine so high, to make it worth it. But yeah, we rebels are really, really great. Yes. Oh man, you guys, if you here's the thing, and the reason why is because of cost. Okay, but if you decide to become a sovereign operator, and I'm probably I don't know if I'm going to change the names, but I am going to change some of the stuff around in it to be able to accommodate this new direction that I'm going. Oh. Okay. Well, okay. I was like, okay, whatever, man. Yeah. Anyways, okay. I see where you're going now. All right. But anyways, it's going to be a private place where like we can all sit back and talk. And sometimes if other group members have a problem, that's what we're there for. I really want to turn, because I need an inner circle, a group of friends that I can talk to no matter what. And you know, whether you're putting $5 a month or $10 a month, it's just so that you can help me keep this in private. Okay. Because honestly, if it wasn't for the way that everything's structured, as far as the way, look, if it's free, they can censor you. If it's outside of a paywall, they can censor you. The second it goes into a paywall, as long as you know how to set up, like keep everything inside your paywall, everything that's said in here, done in here, stays in here. You know, now there are the laws, like if you're doing violence and all that other stuff, that makes sense. But we're not doing violence or anything like that. What we're doing is we're having a free and open discussion as our country goes towards something like Maoism or Stalinism. Okay, as our country descends into that anarchy. You know, so we need to be able to have an outlet to be able to come in and actually be able to speak freely without fear of retribution. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I'm back. That was an easy 400. Okay, well, I'm happy for you, Chaos. You know, we're not really money motivated over here, just so you know. You know, I mean, it might be cool if you're trying to prospect for clients or something, but you know, nobody here's really interested in that. We're homesteaders, we're rebels, and when you live outside the system and you choose to go against the grain, you choose a life of being poor and destitute. That's the way, that's the lifestyle. And so there are people that support your lifestyle and there are people that don't support your lifestyle. Those that do support your lifestyle, great, fantastic, wonderful. Looks like everybody's showing up as we go into open talk. All right, glad to see you guys. I wonder if YouTube throttled me back. Oh, I'm at the motorcycle shop working right now. I just finished a top end rebuild and Yamaha and Blaster. Okay, that's nice. Selling herbs. No, don't stay. Don't stay here. And Tuck, I was thinking about the our man on the scene during Hurricane Milton live you did. Dude, that was epic. You liked that? I mean, I think we didn't get more than maybe 50 people at one point in time. It was like, yeah. So yeah, it didn't seem like it did well on the stats, but if it did well on the viewer satisfaction, that's really what matters. Because just like with Stephanie, I'm a satisfied client and I think she's absolutely amazing. So I'm going to tell all my friends, all my family, how much of an amazing person I think she is. And I think you should do business with her because she does land. She's a good person. She does all this good stuff. That's why I say go over to go over see Stephanie or openairproperties.net, because when you build that super connection with somebody, from a business standpoint, it is one person is the equivalent to maybe $100,000 a year advertising budget if they're vocal enough. Okay, because they're going to go and they're going to talk to anybody and everybody. I talk to anybody and everybody I know. My neighbor now, even though he wasn't going to get the property, he's telling all his friends about it. He's telling everybody about Stephanie, and he's telling them to use my name. Okay, because we're networking within the community, and so on and so forth. It's how the community helps each other. So because of me being a satisfied customer, how much more business does that bring to Stephanie? Not only do I make my property payment every month, but then I bring her more business. That's the best client you could ever have. Okay, so I mean, from a business standpoint, that's the best client you could ever have. So and so the viewer satisfaction is always more important than stats. Chris, for your information, I haven't worked in 10 days and I'm only making 120 on this deal. The rest of his parts. Yep, same here. Edward only wasn't a Wi-Fi. Okay. Okay. Chris, yes, I did, but money is being saved so I can buy the property that I want. Okay. Well, if you want a good cash price, check out Stephanie. Right now land is starting to go up because of all the Californians and because LA got raised to the ground. So I bought mine at like 8, and I guess ones now are going for like 12 because the market is just going up so much because basically everybody in California is getting their insurance money and has nowhere to go because they can't afford to rebuild their house, not with all the regulations and all the other crap. Basically it'd be a drop in the bucket. It would be their deposit, and then they'd have to finance the rest because the government isn't helping them out, considering their whole city got razed to the ground. So what are they doing? They're coming this way. They're finding inexpensive land that they can get into that works. And so therefore, all that other stuff. But she also does property over in Colorado and Arkansas. So I don't know what state you're in or what state you want to go into. No, we are rebels. We are digital rebels. There's a reason for that. How many solar panels are you getting? I only have one 100-watt solar panel, and that powers my battery because I keep my power blocks charged. And because I'm getting more efficient on my power and I'm actually able to streamline a lot of my stuff and not have to worry about it, I'm actually like, I don't even think I need the battery. I could just use the 100-watt solar panel because I keep one power block plugged in at all times. But, I keep the battery just in case, like the other day when I had to disconnect, or if we get rain or snow or clouds and stuff like that. But, I only have one, and it's a 100-watt solar panel. It's down in the description if you want to know which one I have. Plus, I also put the inverter I have as well. It's 500 watt with like 1,000-watt max load. And so like I'm charging my flashlights. I'm charging, because it's got plugs in. I was even able to buzz my hair with a pair of clippers, using that. So it's pretty cool. And it didn't drain the battery like I thought it would. The solar panels doing just fine. Like, it's nice to have constant power. So I have constant power. I have constant water. I'm trying. If it wasn't for all these damn windstorms, I'd be having a lot more. I'd be taking a lot more showers during the week. But seems like right now I'm only getting one a week because those winds. I don't want to. It kind of drops it down, and once you get freshly washed, it just your body cools off so much quicker. I usually try and do it on a hot day. But Saturday is when it's supposed to get nice. So Saturday is probably when I'm going to set up and probably get my shower. Okay. I got another 450 watt inverter on the way for you. Oh, nice. Thanks, Tommy. Yeah, you're the one that sent me the parts. The parts. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that it's supposed to be here Monday or Tuesday. I had something else that was supposed to be here. I don't remember what. So, the live you did when Trump got his ear clipped was a good one too. Really? I barely remember that one. But you know what? My crowd, I did. Okay, so I was originally bringing in preppers to begin with. I think a lot of people, even the YouTube algorithm, still favors prepper community over most other communities that I interact with, because I was a homeless man trying to teach preppers how to survive basically a long-term bug out situation. So if you're a prepper, you want to know how to survive a long-term bug out situation, go watch the last 2 years of my videos. If you're a homesteader and you want to know what happened, what it's going to be like after you lose your farm and what kind of shit you should have, go watch my last 2 years worth of videos. Okay, I talked a lot about homelessness, not only the problems, but the obstacles you face and how to overcome them. In the same way that I offer solutions here, my ideology is this. I want to bring solutions, not just problems. Okay, I wonder what the title is. You know what? It's probably over on Patreon. I have been okay. Same thing has been going on the East Coast. Land has gotten stupid expensive. Yeah, well, everybody's supposed to be running to the woods. I mean, that's kind of what's happening. It's the only way you can survive. I'm lucky. Okay. I'm where you should be. Okay. For those of you that are still watching, I am where you should be. What do I mean by that? What I mean is, okay, I knew that the Great Dispossession was coming. When 2020 happened, and the lockdowns and owning a business and seeing all the problems that happened, plus the election of Biden, and then to see the flowing of migrants across the border, plus all those that were showing up beforehand, like my business didn't last 6 months after Biden's inauguration. That's essentially that's essentially how bad it was. So I saw the writing on the wall then because I was one of the first casualties. So therefore, I built my structure and said, look, since I'm the first, maybe I can get out of it when everybody else is going into it. So I worked my ass off on this YouTube channel, got to a point where I felt comfortable to be able to get property, and I finally got a piece of property. And because of you guys, I'm able to keep that property, not only because of your views, but because of your memberships and all that other stuff. I worked my ass off to get to this point. But I think that I brought value in that whole period of time. I showed you the realistic view of what life would be like, versus the sugar-coated shit that you get from all these other content creators. Okay, so that being said, now I'm here. Everybody else with the trade war, the recession, the damage that Biden did, the lies they did on the numbers, and all this other crap that's happened. Okay, with all that other crap that's happened, I still, the whole world is falling apart. And for me, I have my piece of land. I have very, very minimal output. So it means that I can live off of less. If I can live off of less than the average cockroach, then I am going to out-survive all the other cockroaches. Okay? That's just going to be the way it is. Okay? So I am where you should be. I saw this coming. I tried saying something about it. A lot of people, most people didn't listen. A few did. And those that did, I love hearing their success stories. I really do. Those are the stories that make my day. Okay? So again, if you want to get ahead of the curve, you better get a hold of Stephanie or some property investor. It doesn't have to be Stephanie. I just like Stephanie. She's probably going to be the only person I ever do business with. If I want a piece of land, I'll have her go buy it so I can buy it from her. Okay, because she's when you find a good business, you make sure to support them in any way as possible. In the same way you find a good creator, you support them any way possible. Because without you, they wouldn't continue to exist. Not that they would perish, but in the sense that being a business teaches you that without support from your community, you will cease to exist and you will cease to have success. Your community are your customers if you're a business, or your viewers as a creator. Okay, and so therefore you've got to, that's just a come from a mentality that you got to really think about. And so that's just the way I think. Okay, so good idea, KS. Okay, what's the okay, I bought a piece of property in 2017 for 1,700, similar property, same area is now selling for over 10K. Yep, get in early. And the thing is if you got someone that's willing to get payments, because I guess that the $12,000 property is like $250 payments. Yeah, it's $250 payments from what I understand. And so, I mean, dude, in 5 years, it'll be 25, 30,000. Watch. This area is going to be built up because the Californians have got nowhere to go. Okay, I might be wrong, but I don't think. Tuck, look up life. He did a bunch of homesteading videos a couple years ago. There's a company that you can get like a 2-year-old solar panels from $35 a piece. They're like 150 watts. I can get a 300-watt one in Sholo or St. John's for like $87 that are used. I know what you're talking about. There's being here in the desert, the solar companies, they got all that stuff locked down. Yeah, I was telling one of the guys, oh yeah, you can go get one of them for like $87, and then you got to pay for the charge controller unless you already have one, but they'll do all that for you. And he's like, wow, $87, that's not bad, because usually it's $1 a watt. So it's generally really bad. I have $6,000 sawmill that I haven't even put together because there's nowhere to put it. Why would you do that then? But that's going to be very important for you. Okay. Good info, cast. Okay, yes, I did too. Knew this was coming. Yeah, I mean, there are people that saw the writing on the wall. When they did the lockdowns, I started mourning the loss of my country. And I love my country. I don't want to be anywhere else. I don't care how much of a dictatorship it is. This is my home, and I'm going to stay here, and this is where I'm going to be buried. But then full of good information. I've been doing research for years in different properties, homesteading, fish crafting, cabbie fishing. Okay. So are you here as a viewer or as a prospector? So, I mean, I don't mind passing information along, but I'm watching your chat, and I'm just kind of curious. So, but anyways, just like I don't go on other people's channels, like when I would go over to Bushcraft or Tomcats or American Preppers channel, I never plugged my channel. If they wanted to plug my channel, I left that, because when you're in somebody else's house, you don't plug your stuff. That's all I'm saying. So, I don't know. I'm pretty old school on decorum though. But all right, guys. So we have. Oh, by the way, this cup. If you want this cup, you can find it down in my TeePublic store. Facts. Feelings aren't facts. So I know I can't get a good enough shade on it because of all the light. I'm in Florida. My mom is on oxygen, so I have a bunch of panels, batteries, controllers. I have a deployable farmer shed when hurricanes into backup generators. That's good. Yeah, my stepmom's the reason why I like cast iron. Do I have it? Yes, I should have it. If you go, you might be able to find it. One of my first videos I did, because we were, it was Hurricane Ian in 22. We were because my parents are in outside of Orlando. But in 22, yeah, we lost our power and everything else like that. We were on the outer band of Ian, and it took out the whole orange groves. Yeah, that was bad. That was horrible. A month later was when I went on trail with my bike at first, and yeah, dude, just seeing all the debris. Like it probably took 6 months to clean that up, at least. I mean, and they were having road crews, and people are going out there cleaning the yards, putting it out on the side. I mean, you'd be going through places where they weren't even on the outer band just to see the debris. Like when you start making it up to like St. Augustine and Jacksonville area and stuff like that. So, hey, what's up, DFH? In South Carolina, good luck doing that now. It's absolutely insane. I bought a piece of property 6 years ago for $6,000. It was 4 acres. Yeah, I know. My neighbor was telling me how I've heard some people around here tell me they bought their property for $350, and I'm like, you asshole! Don't tell me that. I don't need to know how much how late I am to the game. But there's going to come a point when this area becomes unaffordable. I don't know what'll end up because I know I'm pretty sure that once this area gets developed up, I think Stephanie might move to a different area and develop it up. And if she does something like that, that'll probably be when I do a move, because that by then the property will be paid off. So by then I'll do a move and sell the property, and then just get top dollar for it and be on my way. Maybe get myself 5 or 10 acres. But I need to learn how to live off of 1 acre before I can live off of 10 acres. So let's see. It's absolutely okay. Yeah, South Carolina DFH. Okay. Okay. Come to my channel. I have 6 shorts posted. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Like, we've just had some really weird stuff going on the last couple of days. So I'm a little on edge. It wasn't meant as a direction. I was just saying if that was what you were doing, but since you're not, that's fine. I respectfully apologize. So, with your trailer, okay, St. Augustine. No. I didn't have my trailer in St. Augustine. My phone makes me sound stupid. Yeah, you're all good, man. You're all good in the hood. Yeah, no, it's just that's I know that I would like to be able to own a couple more acres around here. Like if before the big rush comes in, if I can get the acre on this side and get 3 acres back here and then that acre down there, that'd be but that kind of sucks because I don't get a lot of flat land. I'm buying a hill. So gosh, you sound like you were selling something. Okay. But anyways, best thing I can see is very nice. I'm in Northport. Isn't that near Jacksonville? No, when you move. Oh, okay. Oh, when I move, no, this trailer, unless I am able to rebuild this trailer, which I'm this weekend. I'm looking. Yeah. Yeah, we cleared that up, Chris. But I don't know, what is it? No, if I can get the this weekend, I plan on putting my budgeting stuff up and everything else like that, because it takes me so long to download the video and then upload the video and then download the video again and then clip out the video and then upload 3 or 4 different videos and then get prepared for the night's live stream. I mean, like, my whole day is just like spent like this live stream. I will probably pull 3 or 4 clips out of it, and at that point in time I'll be like, I've given enough, and if people want to see the whole show, they can come see the whole show. Otherwise, this. So I think that's kind of going to be where I'm at, but on the weekends is going to be the only time. So I've got to make, because I've got another channel that I'm working on that I want to work in tandem with this, and I've also got to figure out, I think if somebody wants a monetized channel that is pretty much blank, you're going to have to start from scratch, but at least it's monetized. You'll get AdSense. If you want to buy it from me, $100, because I tried giving it away. The guy I tried giving it away to, he never logged in, so I took it back. Okay, I want to, if I'm going to give it away this time, I want some sort of cash. It's $100. You could easily make. It started out as a gaming channel, and then I started talking about homelessness and other stuff. You can hide the videos, you can bring out you can delete it, you can do whatever you want. But the channel's monetized, and you have enough subscribers to be able to maintain that monetization if you get in there real quick and start posting content. It's something that you're gonna have to do really quickly, like start posting content. So Beth, you'd be a great candidate for something like that. But if anybody wants my YouTube channel, because I can't handle it, I don't want to just let it go, and I'm having to understand something specifically. Pivoting a channel is something that you can do if it's part of the stuff that your audience is into. My audience is into prepping, survivalism, self-sufficiency. My audience isn't into AI. So my audience is more geared towards news and current events than they are towards me talking about AI all day. So that's a lesson I learned about pivoting a channel. If you're going to pivot a channel, that's how you do it, and you pivot it like that. Either that, or you be willing. You have enough side income that you don't have to worry about it. So if you're only making pennies a month, like I used to make $50 a month on it. Now I make like $2, $3, but that's because I hit all my good videos. I've got videos on there that got 100,000 views. Okay, for my gaming channel. But anyways, if somebody wants it, you're gonna have to send me an email, friartuck@hobotuck.com. But I would really like to have it go to somebody that can use it, so it doesn't just become a dead YouTube channel. Because I mean, quite frankly, having a monetized YouTube channel, you can do whatever you want with it. It's a blank slate. This is probably your best opportunity, and the pivot won't be hard for you because you're starting from scratch anyways. You'll have some people that'll tune in, but you're starting from scratch. What the? Oh, okay. I see what's happening. The trees. So, but anyways, okay. Something like what? Wasn't listening. Oh, thanks, Beth. No, I said that my other YouTube channel, the one I was doing mental wealth on, because you kind of want to go in that. It's the channel's kind of set up that way. Like I said, if you wanted a monetized channel, that already had all the bells and whistles so that you could go, because it's got 1,500 subscribers. So if you want something like that, I'm selling it for $100, because at least if you don't log into it, I don't have to sit there and go, well, I want to give it to somebody that uses it. Paying me cash means I can walk away from it and I don't have to think about it. I'll give you the login credentials. I'll remove it from my AdSense account, and you can have it if you want to pay $100 for it. You can either cash at me or you can do it through my website. Just make sure you communicate with me via email when you're ready to do something like that. But it should be done within like the next 4 to 6 weeks, because after that, the channel is going to be much harder to get going. They're all used to you, though. No, they're not. Beth, and that's the thing. It's a monetized channel. Me, they're not going to worry about, or me, because I most of the time it was a faceless channel. Nobody ever saw me with my gaming channel, because what I did is I put the game on and then I just did voiceovers. So people know my voice, but I think you'd be just fine. Because the thing is, most of those subscribers aren't active, but they're going to keep you monetized while you build the audience, and then those go into attrition. Okay, so it's important, if you're going to do something like that, that's kind of the way you want to do it. Is you got to realize a lot of those subscribers probably won't go with you. Some of those subscribers, just because you are in education, they might gravitate to you because they like the teacher figure and stuff like that. Holy cow, those winds are getting bad. So it was called Conflict of Nations World War III, and I started playing it based upon a Billy Meyer prediction about how Russia would win the next world war and how they would do it. And so I went and I picked Russia as a country, and I followed the plan, and I'm like, oh, fuck. That's kind of the way it was when I followed it, because basically you're going to go up through like Norway, Finland, Sweden, and at that point in time, you can just basically launch over to Europe, and you can just create a blockade. You create a front line in Poland, and Ukraine, and then therefore that protects Russia from anything. So therefore they put a front line far enough away from them to where they could literally protect themselves through anything. So that was what got me started. And then I went back to it and I started trying to learn it, and then I became one of those like superstar players. I was really, really good. Why? What am I going to do with it? I can't post on it. It's a useless account at this point. If I sell it, at least it goes to somebody that's going to use it. Because all those game, you don't delete videos, you just unlist them. So all those videos are listed. So if you want to continue a gaming channel and just turn it into that, maybe do other games, you can do something like that too. Okay, because it's prime for a gaming channel. If this if you brought all my videos back in and started doing your own gaming channel to tie into that, you'd be up to like 50,000 subscribers in 6 months to a year if you worked hard. And that's a pretty good feat to do in 6 months to a year. That was actually my first path to monetization. When I had my 4 channels that were being deleted, basically I had to make a replica of that channel on the channel that I have now, but it was called Gaming with Jason, and I had like, in a matter of a week, I had like 3,500 watch hours and 900 subscribers. Okay, and then like a couple days later, my channel got deleted. And so that's what I would have been doing. I would have been in the gaming space. I never would have been over here. I would have never done the homeless thing. I would have never done the news thing or anything else like that. If it wasn't for YouTube deleting my channel, I would have been monetized. I would have my own place, and I would have been doing just fine. And I would have been just great, because once I got monetized, my old man would have respected what I was doing, and like, oh, okay, you're actually making money at this, so I'll be nice. So he didn't think I was making money at it, so he didn't feel like he had to respect it. So, but he didn't realize the long game. But yeah, hey Tuck, did you see 4chan got hacked and deleted? Any thoughts on that? Really, 4chan? Huh. Well, considering the people that are on 4chan that started that group that starts with the letter Q that I can't talk about, they were talking about deep fakes. What was it? 2017, 2018? Because I was still with my first business partner when we were reading it. I thought that the first American Civil War was starting right then. It was that like literally, it didn't freak me out, but it was like I was watching it, and my dad and I were talking about it, and he's like, yeah. So yeah, my thoughts on it. I would want to know, like, it's politically motivated. Maybe there was something on there that didn't need to be on there. Maybe the Chinese wanted it gone because something was going on. From what I understand, Anonymous is going after Elon Musk and calling him out for election interference. So I don't know a lot about it. I mean, I hear rumblings underground, but I don't know a lot about that. I have met somebody that was in Anonymous. I'm telling my opinion from the person that I met is that they're mostly government agents to begin with. So I mean, it's just our clandestine our clandestine agents. So I don't know. I have no idea. And the thing is that there's so much of a split. Anonymous could have taken it down because they wanted the Democrats to win. Okay, the Anonymous may be a left-leaning organization to begin with. Who knows? You never know. So I don't have any real thoughts on that. But thanks for asking, though, Hogo. Okay, we'll see. What kind of game you like? Okay, so meant to be then. Frere has been helping others. I always wanted to help others. But see, here's something that I'm gonna do, and this is what I'm gonna end this with, because I know we're coming. Well, hold on. Hey, can anybody give me a time check? Tell me what time zone you're in and what time it is, because I can't get to my clock. Oh, wait, no, yes, I can. No, I shut off my laptop. So, yeah, I need a clock. So, wait, hold on. Started at 5, so it's about 6. So no, we still got another hour. I was gonna say we might be able to look at the sunset, but probably won't get to see it. But let me when when I when I first talked to Stephanie, I told her, look, I talk about homelessness. I've been homeless for the last couple of years, and I want to use this property as a way to help the homeless. Well, I tried getting support behind it, but nobody really wanted to put any support behind it. And I didn't have the ability to have the staying power to really like sit there and just beat it into the ground until I got enough momentum to somebody would actually contribute to it. So what am I working towards now? So in the event, if I keep this news channel going and if it keeps going as good as it is, uh, and even with the homesteading and stuff like that, I could easily get to $10,000 a month, but I don't want $10,000 a month. So anything I make over a grand is going to go back to the community, because a good portion of my community are homeless or have been homeless, and they are the ones that I want to benefit first. But I want to start creating my own programs, like I started talking about. There are the 4 pillars that I want to talk about on how to solve homelessness. It starts with educating the donor class, educating the political class, educating the lawfare class, and educating the general person to take away the stigma. But if you don't start with the donor class, you cannot fix homelessness, because they're the ones that can make the most impact in the quickest time if they're precise about how they put their money in, versus like, oh, this sounds like a good cause. All NGOs are good. I trust the government. It's here to help me. Just like these NGOs, and you even have cities that are putting up, donate to an NGO, don't give to a homeless person, and it's like, dude, all you're doing is lining their pockets and screwing us over. But the thing is I still am going to do that. I just have to get to a point where I have enough funds to be able to do that, because I am going to have to set it up as a not-for-profit. I am going to have to get a board. It is going to have to be independent from me. And what my umbrella company will be is a is a it's not a not for it's a no a charitable business, or a charitable organization. It'll probably be a charitable business, just because I don't have the wealth for to be classified as an organization, because that's for old money. But I want to I create a charitable company, and so therefore I take whatever I make over the allotted amount that I say that I need, $1,000 to start off, $2,000 after that, after a while, because things are going to go up. I'm going to want water. I'm going to want to do projects around them, stuff like that, because basically once this property is paid off, I have no bills unless I choose to get some. But the thing is what I'll do is, and therefore everything that I make, I won't ever have to pay taxes, because it's all going to charity. It's going to my charity, and then therefore I get to go out there and help the homeless community the way that I think that they need the help, that's going to make the best impact. And the thing is that's the way you're forced to do it. If you try and do it as an individual, if you try to make a change as an individual, if you try, you can't do it by yourself. The way that they've got the system gamed is, if you do not become a not-for-profit, suck on the tit of the government, and line your pockets while screwing over the man that you're supposed to be helping, you should not be in the homeless industrial complex according to today's policies and the way things go. So I want to change that, but I can't change that as an individual. But if I create a charity, a charitable organization that will like compound the power and influence that I am able to gain through what it is that I do, I think I'll be able to make an impact. But I think by the time I'm able to get around to it, it's going to be too late. So charitable company mean tax exempt for nonprofit. A charitable company means that you operate for profit, but you give a certain portion of your profit to charitable organizations, such as not-for-profits, foundations, organizations. That's what a charitable business means. It means that you operate on a for-profit, so you can be an LLC, but your main mission is to take a portion of your funds to give back to the community. The only queue that I like was the gun company out of New Hampshire. Oh, okay. Okay, so 21 So it's like 9:30 there. So yeah, it's about 6:30. Yeah, okay, so we're doing okay. One day, if you guys got it late enough, I can't really go outside. Well, you guys want to see what it looks like outside? I'll show you again. Watch, because I know I showed you earlier. See that? That's why the trailer's shaking. And those things, those trees are not weak. They're built for this. Yeah. So, but anyways, all right. Let's see here. Nice trees. How's the trailer in its new locale? Got to do some adjustment. I need to switch the blocks around. It's kind of tilted this way a little bit. It's kind of weird because I'm kind of like having to lean forward a little bit just to stand up straight. I'm on a slope to begin with, but the way that because when we go outside, when I go outside next with the camera, which will be probably this weekend or next week. When I go outside, I will show you guys how the trailer set up because I can't really explain it. You just kind of have to see it. But all right, guys, we have hit an hour and a half. Congratulations. You guys, well, not only do I come with a lot of stuff, but you guys have managed to keep me engaged for this long. I really, really appreciate it. You are adaptable. Thank goodness. Okay, I remember one private company tried to build homeless tiny homes and the city shut them down. Yeah, they've done that. They tried doing that in Chattanooga too. Um, yeah, Chattanooga. If you wanna talk about hostile to the homeless, look at Chattanooga. Don't go there. Like if you're homeless, stay out of Chattanooga. And if they drop you in there, because that's usually because all the reason why they don't like it is because all the hospitals are starting to like when I left the hospital, they said you're either going to Atlanta or you're going to Chattanooga. I'm like, screw Atlanta, I'm going to Chattanooga. So, but all right. It was Las Vegas. Oh wow, Night Tucking Sam. Okay, night. Was that the guy in LA around 10 years ago? Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. I will see you tomorrow. Same bet time, same bet channel. And we'll keep riding out this windstorm. Thanks for being here, guys.